what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brothers and sisters, prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve, and the alone seek for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Brother Abdur Ali from Tampa. We have Brother Ibrahim Muhammad from Tampa. We have Brother Mutakabir Ali from New Jersey. We have Brother Muhammad Abdul Rashid from Lake Park, Florida. We have Brother Captain Ronnie and Brother Captain Ronnie Muhammad from Baltimore. We have Brother Calvin Shabazz from Atlanta. And we have Minister Michael Shabazz from Gary. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we like to talk about Malcolm X's divine chastisement, a response to Abdur Rahman Muhammad. We had this brother he is a professor, a college professor, and he is the one who made Who Killed Malcolm X. This brother got a response to the Blood Brothers Netflix. So the brother in this response, he talking about the messenger ate bacon. That's how these lost founds, that's how they come at the messenger. Because he said that Malcolm X knew that the messenger was corrupt. He said he knew that Chicago was corrupt. But he said Malcolm's intentions was to hold on long enough till the messenger died so he could save the Nation of Islam. Because he said the messenger was a hypocrite. Because he said on record, he says, they had a messenger eating bacon. That's how these people just ain't worried about a Muslim saying he by himself. Ain't worried about a Muslim response. He can say that the messenger ate bacon. But let's look at it. First, we want to talk about the divine chastisement of Malcolm X. Because this just wasn't some beef that the messenger and Malcolm had. And this is what is not explained to the lost found. Malcolm got divine chastisement. This is why the messenger never responded to him coming at him with this teenage secretary stuff. This is the messenger in the July 23rd or the July 31st, 1964, Muhammad speaks. It says, let's unite for freedom. Then the messenger got an article called beware of false prophets. This was one of the first articles that the messenger had blasting Malcolm X. Because the messenger kept telling Malcolm what Allah was going to do to him. He was showing Malcolm about all the hypocrites in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, showing him this is your fate. Yes. And this is why Abdur Rahman and the rest of them never show what the messenger's response was to Malcolm. Because the messenger gave Malcolm a step by step look into his future. Yes, because the way these people do us today too, because we the cream puff nation of Islam, yes, they say that Malcolm deserved to be killed in front of his wife and children. That's what they say. To make people feel sorry for Malcolm. His wife and children was on the front row. No, that don't make us feel sorry for him. He was under divine chastisement. Praise to Allah. The messenger had an audio called warning to the hypocrites. Yes, he did. Warning Malcolm X and the rest of them who followed him. Not only did he have warning to the hypocrites, he had beware of false prophets. Yes, sir. This was in July of 1964. Then the messenger goes on. This comes from the January. This is the January 15th, 1965. So from July all the way to January, the messenger giving him the play-by-play. This one says, victory of the apostle. Yes, sir. Why don't Abdur Rahman, the Muslim, tell the people what the messenger said? Right. What was the messenger's response to this hypocrite, Malcolm Little? Yes, sir. He has victory of the apostle. Yes, sir. Because the messenger is the messenger of Allah. Yes, right. The messenger taught us that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Yes, sir. July 4th, 1930. Yes, sir. He taught us that he is the long-awaited Savior. He came to save the black man from the destruction of the white race. That's right. The messenger said he is a divine warner to me and you. Yes, sir. So he is a divine warner to the whole black nation here in America. Yes, sir. So he was warning Malcolm X, telling him if you continue on this road, this will be your fate. Yes, sir. Divine chastisement. Right. So the messenger goes on. The fate, or Messenger Muhammad, on the fate of hypocrites. Yes. Because this Elijah, this Muhammad speaks right here, was the last Muhammad speaks that I saw, at least from my research, of the messenger warning Malcolm. Victory of the apostles was it, and the fate on hypocrites. Because this was that Muhammad Speaks newspaper that had his head rolled. So it was over with all of the warning. I done warned you. I done told you all I need to tell you for you to take heed on what's going to happen to you. Yes, sir. So if Malcolm X decided, as he mud washing the messenger, I'm going to have my wife and children on the front row to listen to me mud wash the divine apostle. After the messenger for months was telling this hypocrite, the fate of hypocrites, yes, the victory of the apostle, that's Malcolm's fault. That's right. He shouldn't have brought it. That's right. That don't make us feel sorry for him. He was a hypocrite. Right. Praise to Allah. That's how Muslims supposed to be talking about Malcolm. Yes. He was under a divine chastisement. Right. Our God, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, chastised Malcolm. Yes, sir. For going against his message. Yes. So let's go even further with this article. Because the one thing that I like about this article right here is called Beware of False Prophets. Then the messenger got on page 3. It says the messenger quotes the Holy Quran on hypocrites. Then under that, it has, when Harlem was no heaven for hypocrites. The messenger went to Harlem on Malcolm. When he went to Harlem on Malcolm, they put in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, when Harlem was no heaven for hypocrites. What they talking about? Harlem was no heaven for hypocrites. You can go to the white man, because this is how I start to do the research on the messenger. I would find stuff in the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Then I would go to the devil's newspaper and look it up too. Yes. Because the Muhammad Speaks, every time they was whooping Malcolm's head, they didn't just put it in the paper. They would say stuff like this: when Harlem was no heaven for the hypocrite. They didn't put we whooped their head when we went. It just said no heaven for the hypocrite. Yes, so I went to the devil's thing to see just what happened. Why wasn't it a heaven for the hypocrites? So you go to the March 29th, 1964 Detroit Free Press. It said Negro foes beaten by black Muslims at Harlem rap. Praise due to Allah. This is how the Muhammad Speaks used to do. Praising him. Wasn't no leave Malcolm alone. He was under divine chastisement. All those who was with him, because the messenger talked about that too, sympathizing with hypocrites. He said in this article, on the fate of hypocrites, he said, announce to the hypocrites that they shall have a painful chastisement. Allah will gather together the hypocrites and the unbelievers all in hell. This is the message. He says, surely the hypocrites strive to deceive Allah, and he shall require their deceit to them. Then he says, surely the hypocrites are in the lowest stage of the fire, and you shall not find a helper for them. This the message. Yes, divine chastisement. Yes, that's why we had more Muslims who stood up for the messenger. We could browbeat this brother to death. What you do to Allah? Browbeat him to death. Yes. The stuff he talking about is so weak. He got to say that the messenger ate bacon. That's a weak lie. Why you can't stick to the facts? Because we're going to talk about that a little later. But this is the messenger telling Malcolm X, step by step, his divine chastisement. Then you see another article. This one comes from the Detroit Free Press, March 11th, 1963. It says, Negro moderates give Malcolm X a cold shoulder. The messenger says there will be no help for the hypocrites. Yes, that's what Malcolm was. He was a hypocrite. Right. Yes, praise due to Allah. He was a hypocrite and a traitor to the messenger and the nation. Yes, the messenger said there will be no help for the hypocrites. Yes, right. The only person that helped Malcolm was Gene Roberts. He was that undercover police officer who was the top security in Malcolm's X little security force. A hypocrite like himself. Yes, that's what Allah, Master Farad Muhammad, did to this hypocrite. There will be no help for the hypocrites. The messenger said Allah will appoint you a death. Yes, he did. He gave Malcolm X the exact thing he gave the messenger. Yes. He was a traitor. So the messenger said he fill up his temple with hypocrites like himself. That's right. That's exactly what Malcolm had. Yes. Hypocrites like himself. Yes, so Gene Roberts was in there on this hypocrite, making Malcolm trust him. So Malcolm made him top security. That's Allah. Master Farad Muhammad. Praise to Allah. That's our God. Yes, sir. Who came in the person and raised a messenger for us. Yes, we not ashamed of him. Right. I love this history. Yes, I love talking about how them Muslims whooped Malcolm's head. Yes, Praise due to Allah. I'm not one of the Muslims that care about what the lost found think. Right. My only thing for the lost found, just like the messenger, I don't want to add nothing to what he said. I don't want to take nothing away from what he said. I want to get what the messenger said to the lost found. Right. Praise due to Allah. Because we love them. Yes. They are brothers. Right. We don't want to give our lost found brothers the wrong impression. To make us think or make them think we some aggressive group. But this is God's messenger. Yes. Right. It's best for us to give you the truth and let you make your own mind up. Yes, than for us to lie to you. Right. Deceive you. And make you accept something you really don't know nothing about. Right. The messenger wasn't like that. Right. He gave you the uncut truth. Yes, he did. Praise due to Allah. And let you make up your own mind. Yes, sir. That's what we want to do. Yes, sir. Give you that uncut truth. Yes, sir. And let you make up your own mind. Yes, that's what we want to do. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about this, the messenger ate pork stuff. This brother talking about the messenger ate pork. Because the one thing about these Sunnis like this Abdur Rahman jealous of the messenger. Yes. They don't go out to give the black man nothing. They talk about they follow the Prophet Muhammad. In true Islam, Prophet Muhammad said, you're not a Muslim until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Yes, sir. You're not a Muslim. Abdur Rahman know that the Holy Quran says we don't eat pork. How many black people is he offering his religion to? To teach them to get off the hog. Right. How many people? But this jealous Sunni Muslim come out to tell you or speak against the messenger. This is what he devoted his life to the black man. To slander and mud wash the messenger. Yes, sir. But let's look at the messenger when it comes to pork. This is an article that comes from the May 29th, 1971 Daily News. It says kosher meat sales soar in black neighborhoods. Kosher meats. Not no hog. Kosher meats soar in black neighborhoods. Because another prophet that all Muslims claim to believe in is Jesus. Jesus says, judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Yes, sir. We can turn around and use the same prophets he say he believe in and turn and use it on him. Because the messenger was an apostle. Yes. He the same, he better than Jesus. He better than Muhammad. He the last and the greatest messenger of Allah. That's right. That's right. So we can take all these other prophets and use them against old Abdur Rahman Muhammad. Right. Jesus said, judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Yes. He didn't say judge the tree by gossip. Right. He said judge that tree by the fruit it bears. Yes. In 1971, the Daily News saw so many black people eat kosher meats that they decided to write an article on. That was a phenomenon among black people. Yes, sir. We the biggest hog eaters in America. Right. The black man. The one slave to the white man. But God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. July 4th, 1930. And he raised a messenger for us. And that messenger is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Yes, sir. Right. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us that you're not a Muslim until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Yes, sir. He told us to go out and get our dead black brother. That's right. We just wasn't in the mosque sitting around talking about how we know how to eat or stop eating hog. We showed the black man. That's right. Get off that hog. Yes, sir. So in this article, it says kosher meats are finding their way onto unlikely tables these days. Thanks to the black Muslims. Not thanks to the Sunnis. Not thanks to the Israelites, but thanks to the Muslims. Not the Israelites. Now the spook worshiping Sunnis want to come against the message. Why did the white man ain't writing about you? They jealous of the message. They hate the message because he's the messenger of God. That's why they hate him. Like they hated all other prophets and messages. They hated Prophet Muhammad too. They hated Jesus too. They hated Moses too. So they hate the message. So instead of this fake Sunni who pretend like he a historian, instead of him giving you the history of the messenger, telling you the truth about the man, how he took all black people off whole, he'd rather tell you the messenger ate bacon. This fake fraud Sunni Muslim. So the article goes on. It says kosher meats are finding their way onto unlikely table these days, thanks to the black Muslims. Demand for kosher meats is an old story in Flatbush and Forest Hills, but it's something new in Harlem, Bedford-Stuyvesant, and other predominantly black communities. Manufacturers of kosher meat provisions attribute soaring sales in black neighborhoods largely to Muhammad's Nation of Islam, which requires black Muslims to follow dietary laws similar to that of Jews. These were the manufacturers of kosher meats. The manufacturers of kosher meats in New York. Notice they profits is soaring, they say. Soaring. Because the messenger's book, How to Eat to Live. Because the messenger's Nation of Islam. Not because of these spook worshiping Sunnis. But because of the message. They tell you how they following Prophet Muhammad. That's only talk. Prophet Muhammad said, you not a Muslim until you want for your brother what you want for yourself. This fake Sunni don't eat pork. So he not a Muslim until he want for you what he want for himself. He not out there telling the black man to get off hog. He's slandering the message. That's all we know this spook worshiper for. Is slandering the apostle of God. So it goes on to say. It says, in keeping with its dietary philosophy, the Muslim sect operates a restaurant, Salam number 7, at 115 Lenox Ave, where Egyptian and American chefs combine talents to prepare kosher specialties. The Muslims have farms in Alabama, Georgia, and Michigan, said Brother Wayne, to raise beef, cattle, sheep, and chicken. They also operate slaughtering houses, where the animals are required to be at peace before they are killed. The sect produces Shabazz trademark beef sausages and expects to market other food products in the future. The spokesman thinks the sect's attempt to bring the best food products kosher, that is, into impoverished urban communities is one of the Muslims' main accomplishments. Praises be to Allah. Documented facts on the message. He a historian. He a fake fraud Sunni spook worshiping Muslim. That's what he is. He a spook worshiper. Calling himself a historian. I used to go to college and I had one of these brothers as a professor too. One of these Sunnis. One of these Sunnis that come in there and try to teach history. He in there talking about the big head scientists in front of these devils one day. And I used to, because I don't want to disrupt, this is class. I don't want to disrupt this class. So some stuff I used to let slide okay, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to let it slide. That ain't nothing to be arguing about. I let it slide. But when they start talking about Yaqub, I'm like, he getting at the messenger now. So I had to say, like, yeah, we still believe in Yaqub, the big head scientist. He grabbed the white race. I didn't even realize what I was saying had such an effect on the students. Till the next day I came to class. It was a brother who wasn't even in the class telling me what I said the other day. Like, you, Malcolm X, you told them this, and I'm like, wow. They really listen. They want the message. Pray due to Allah. They want the truth. They just don't know what the truth is. So the message. This man who this spook worshiper telling you ate bacon. The messenger had slaughtering house. The messenger had farms where he raising beef, cattle, sheep, so the black man can get good food in impoverished neighborhoods. This is the message. And then after all that, he's still telling you, you can go to the kosher meat market to get you some kosher food. So it goes on to say, it says Abel Golden, sales manager of Zion Kosher Meats Products in the Bronx, said his company sells in bulk to the Shabazz stores and several of Muhammad's temples of Islam, the learning center of the Muslim sect. So now you got another manufacturer talking about I sell in bulk to many of the Muslim temples and they stores. Documented facts on the message. But this spook worshiper gonna tell you the messenger ate bacon. He gonna tell you the messenger was corrupt because he turned against that hypocrite Malcolm Little. What did Malcolm Little do for the black man? How many farms did Malcolm Little have? All that Malcolm Little did was what the messenger taught him to do. Because the messenger taught us about the hypocrite named Core. Core was just like Malcolm. Same kind of hypocrite who thought he was better than Moses. The messenger told us the fate of Core. The messenger told us about Absalom. The same kind of hypocrite like Malcolm. Absalom like this one in Chicago today too. The messenger says standing at the gate kissing hands. That's Absalom. Praise due to Allah. That was Malcolm and his brother in Chicago. Standing at the gate kissing hands. Trying to show the people I'm better than Elijah Muhammad. Kissing hands. But the message kept on working the same way. And obviously the black man was listening. Let's go further. It says black people called to ask where they can find kosher butcher shops, said Joseph Souquet, vice president of Morgan David Kosher Meat Products in the Bronx. So that's 3 kosher meat manufacturers that's bearing witness to the message. That's 3. So let's go on even further. He said kosher provisions, which generally cost 5 to 10% more than non-kosher, have always been popular in black neighborhoods. But the increase in black Muslim dietary followers have swelled sales further. The black Muslims are very meticulous, noted Jesse Rosenbach, sales manager of Skamalaka Bernstein Kosher Provisions in Manhattan. His firm sells in bulk to Muslim mosques in Baltimore, as well as Shabazz stores in the New York area. In Baltimore and the whole New York in bulk. These are the manufacturers bearing witness to the message. But again, this spook worshiping lying Sunni who jealous of the message. Because another thing that I hate that they talk about in this Who Killed Malcolm X. I don't like how they talk about James Shabazz. I don't like how they talk about him. I don't like how they make him seem like he was some murderer or he was some killer or that whole temple in Newark, New Jersey. But what this spook worship never tells you is about Matthew Shoemaker, another brother who was in that New Jersey mosque number 25. The Italian mafia wanted to kill brother Matthew Shoemaker.
Yes, sir.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
But the way this brother present the facts or the stuff to you in this Who Killed Malcolm X, He always say, but the Muslims never did this to anybody white. They only did this to Malcolm. Poor little Malcolm got beat up on by his brothers. They all turned on him because they were jealous. Why he don't tell you about Carlo Gambino
Right. Yes, sir.
in New Jersey in 1965? And we gonna bring that.
Yes, sir.
In 1965, Matthew Shoemate beat up a mob boss's son.
Yes, sir.
Put him in the hospital, I think, for 2 years
Yes, sir.
with a collapsed lung.
That's right.
Documented facts.
Yes, sir.
So the mob boss in New Jersey, the same mosque that James Shabazz was from, the mafia wanted to kill this brother. So before they could do it, they had to go and get the okay from Carlo Gambino.
That's right.
When they was first talking according to the wiretap, because this was in the New York Times, this was a court transcript
Yes, sir.
of a wiretap
Yes, sir.
that Carlo Gambino was having with the mob bosses. So at first, Carlo Gambino didn't know this was a black Muslim.
That's right.
So they was talking about how they was gonna kill this brother. They was talking about how they was gonna get a police officer to kill him. They was gonna stab him with a knife. Then it said, one of them said, but he a black Muslim.
That's right.
But, cause one of them in there knew, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
Wait a minute, while we leaving out some important information for old Gambino.
That's right.
While y'all getting a little bit too excited.
Yes, sir.
But Mr. Gambino, he a black Muslim.
That's right.
While they talking all this talk.
Yep.
So then Carlo Gambino, the whole mood, they say, in the room changed.
Right.
So they said Carlo Gambino told, said, look, you usually do get satisfaction when somebody attack or kill one of our members. You usually do. He said, but you never get it if it could cost us the whole Bagada.
Yes, sir.
And that means family.
Right. That's right.
Documented facts.
That's right. Praise be to
People
God.
tell us.
Yes, sir.
What this spook worshiping jealous Sunni ain't gonna tell you. He told them, he said, if you kill this man and the Muslims find out, it'll start an all-out war.
That's right. You said.
The messenger had a brotherhood,
Yes, sir.
a Muslim brotherhood.
That's right, brother.
Praises to Allah. That we want for our brother what we want for ourselves.
That's right.
We want divine protection.
Yes, sir.
So that's why we call on Allah.
Right.
And Allah protects us.
That's right.
Brother Matthew Shoemate's life was saved just because he was a follower of the message.
That's right, brother.
His
Yes, sir.
life was saved.
That's right.
Because not only did the Italian mafia know about the Muslims, also the police.
Yes, sir.
Something else this brother don't tell you. In 1972, in April, it's called the Harlem Mosque Incident. Because the messenger, we are never the aggressor.
That's right.
When you look at the Muhammad Speaks newspapers, at first what was happening is police used to make these phony calls and saying that brothers had guns and they would raid temples around New York.
Yes, sir.
So the messenger not being the aggressor, he had Muslims try to form brotherhoods with these black police unions. So all throughout the Muhammad Speaks in 1969, you see Muslims having meetings with these police unions, big rallies
Right. Yes, sir.
with police unions, telling them if you get a call saying that some brothers got guns or something, call us first before you come and bust in the temple.
Right. Yes, sir.
So they formed a brotherhood with the black police.
That's right. Yes,
But the white man, the devil, say these niggas ain't gonna do nothing. That's how they do. That's why the Holy Quran says you have to make examples out of people.
yes, sir.
You gotta make an example. They didn't think the Muslims were gonna do nothing. So through the week, when the Muhammad University was in session, the police bust through the thing with weapons, the mosque, with weapons. So the brothers locked them in
Yes, sir.
and began to beat on them.
Right. Yes, sir.
These is unarmed Muslims.
Right.
These is armed devils.
Yes, sir.
That's how the messenger had a brotherhood.
That's right.
And what I like about this incident is what them brothers said in the Muhammad Speaks. The brother said that when the devils busted through the temple, he said, we knew we were no match for them. He said, we knew that. They got guns, we don't. But he said, we remember what the messenger told us. Yes. He said that whenever we in a difficult situation, he said, call on Allah.
Yes, sir. That's right.
And that's what that brother said he did.
Yes, sir.
He said they called on Allah.
Yes, sir.
Allahu Akbar.
Right. Yes, sir.
And went to work on them devils.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes,
That's what this spook worshiping Sunni not gonna tell you.
right. Yes, sir.
Not only did the brother say, the devil wrote a book called The Circle of Six. Yes. In the book, the devil said when they ran in there and found out they was trapped, he said they heard them brothers say Allahu Akbar.
Yes, sir.
And brothers started coming from everywhere on them devils. Go read the book.
Yes, sir.
In February of 2021, the same devil that wrote the book had a live podcast still talking about that incident.
Yes, sir.
That this spook worshiping Sunni ain't gonna never tell you.
That's right. Yes, sir.
He was still in disbelief and how them brothers disarmed them devils.
Yes, sir.
Killed a white police officer, and nobody went to jail.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
That was the Muslim Brotherhood of the Messenger.
Yes, sir.
They didn't, nobody turned the brother in or the weapon. Nobody. They even said that when in the book, because I read the book, I read the New York Times article, I even listened to them devils on the podcast. That devil said they was Vietnam vets.
Yes, sir.
Devils that been to Vietnam, he couldn't believe how them brothers disarmed them devils and was beating on them.
Yes, sir.
So in the book, it says that he says that when they did the investigation, they said Louis Farrakhan told them devils when they came in, he said, you are not safe in here. He said, it's our meat house. And none of y'all are safe. This is what the devil said in the book.
Yes, sir.
Read the whole book. The messenger had a brotherhood.
Yes, he did.
He told us who Allah was.
That's right. Yes, sir.
He told us his name.
Yes, sir.
And he said, whenever we in trouble, call on him.
Yes, sir.
So we got two examples of how Muslims trusted in Allah.
Yes, sir.
And Allah made them the winner.
Right. Yes, sir.
Because we saw the messenger, the number one man trusting Allah.
Yes, sir.
And he was the winner over this hypocrite Malcolm Little.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
He did not have to explain one time to the black man about them women. He told Malcolm, you will have no help. Allah will appoint you a devil. And the same fate all the hypocrites in the Holy Quran and Bible will happen to you.
Yes, sir.
And that's exactly what did happen to that hypocrite. But they want to make it seem like it was some beef between him and the messenger. It wasn't a beef. It was a divine chastisement.
That's right.
But let's go on even further. Because you got other articles written about the messenger and this kosher meats. This comes from the November 13th, 1973, the Philadelphia Inquirer. It's called Gentiles Go Kosher for Better Meat Values. This article was talking about how all the Jews were selling kosher meats to Gentiles. Because to them, if you're not a Jew, you're a Gentile. So it says Wolf, who says he has always sold kosher meats to Gentiles, estimates Gentiles make up 50% of his clientele. And his business has had another recent boost. Black Muslims are setting up stores all over the city. And they won't touch anything but kosher meats.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
This is in Philly. The other one was in New York. Now we talking about Philly. Let's go even further than that. Let's talk about when all black people was praising this soul food. This article comes from the September 11th, 1968, and I forgot to write the title. But this was in 1968. The title of the article says, Soul Food Needs Love, Long and Loving Cooking. This is when black people was worshiping soul food.
Yes, sir.
Soul food was a part of black pride. Nobody was speaking against soul food but the messenger. Let's look at the article. It says, what is soul food? According to the best Negro sources, it is food that warms not only the body, but stirs the soul to warmth also. It don't just warm the body, it warms just the whole, warms your soul.
Yes, sir.
Collard greens and cornbread warms your soul.
Right, yes, sir.
The best, it says the best Negro sources. Top Negroes.
Yes, sir.
Say the whole warms your soul.
Yes.
So it goes on to say, it says Miss Pethro is a Columbia University Master of Foods and Nutrition, a member of Madison Avenue Public Relations Company, Farley Manning and Associates, and mother of an attractive daughter just graduated from Bennington College in Vermont. She says, at times, I just must have a dish of ham hocks and black-eyed peas and rice, or canned yam cooked my grandmother's way, boiled then sliced, then fried until crispy and almost black on the edges, then sugared and baked, or else white corn kernel cooked down in milk and bacon drippings, then sugared and cooked in milk for another hour or two, she confessed, adding, and of course okra is important to me too, steamed briefly and laid whole across the top of the black-eyed peas pot. She got a master's degree in nutrition.
Yes, sir.
All this hog she eat. All this hog she promoting the black man to eat.
Yes, sir.
This was the state of the black man before the messenger.
Yes.
But this spook worship gonna tell you the messenger used to eat bacon. So it goes on to say about her. Because this article hypes this sister up. Now, I'm not taking nothing away. She might have been educated. She got a college degree. She a part of all these associations. Then it goes on to say, alert, smartly dressed, well known in both Negro and white communities. She is a member of the Urban League, the NAACP, American Home. She about everything. This is a woman who has a master's degree in nutrition. This 1968. Then they got an article on the messenger. This brother named L.J. Banks did a series. I think this was a 6 or 7 part series on soul food. The only person who was speaking against soul food was the messenger. This comes from the Indianapolis, December 27, 1968. It says the leader of black Muslims says, reject Whitey's food. It says not only are there black people who will not eat traditional soul food dishes because of social economic standards, but because of religious standards as well. The black Muslims are an example. Their religious doctrine, as taught by Elijah Muhammad of Chicago, forbids them to eat the majority of foodstuffs popular in the diets of black Americans. Messenger Muhammad presents his dietary doctrines in his book, How to Eat to Live, which serves as a biblical cookbook and menu for all black Muslims throughout the nation. In Indianapolis, the congregation of black Muslims whose mosque is at 2905 North Clifton follow those rules implicitly. They even have a restaurant, Shabazz, 422 East 23rd, which cooked its food according to Messenger Muhammad's directions. So you got New York, Baltimore, or Philly Now we got Indianapolis. Where you showing not only are Muslims eating right, got a book for the black man, but they got a restaurant. They're serving healthy food to the black man. But this spook worshiping Sunni, this fake, this fraud, this jealous Sunni spook worshiping Muslim, gonna tell you that the messenger ate bacon. Jesus said, judge a tree by the fruit that it bears.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Why he don't tell you the fruit the messenger bears?
Yes, sir.
Because it would sound silly. It would sound stupid and dumb to say he ate bacon. Why would he eat bacon if he go through this much to get the black man off hard? Right. Then he's sneaking around eating bacon.
Yes, sir.
He couldn't even do that if he was eating bacon. He wouldn't even care that much if he was eating bacon. If he loved bacon that much, he'd try to slide bacon in to the teachers. He the message.
Right.
So it goes on to say, it says much of the argument against certain foods is part of the black Muslims' revolt against anything coming from white people that is destructive. Messenger Muhammad teaches that pork, greens, grits, cornbread, and many other dishes were given to the Afro-American by white slave masters and not by Allah. It say food fit for mules. It says according to Messenger Muhammad, such foods is too rough on a delicate stomach. It is fit for mules, he said. Stay away from that pork, the messenger exhorts, and all those other forbidden foods. Americans usually eat for taste, but I'm teaching you how to eat for life. You are digging your own grave with your teeth.
Yes, sir.
This the messenger.
Right.
Teaching us how to eat to live.
Yes, sir.
Now this spook worshiper want us to think the messenger behind somewhere eating some bacon.
Yes, sir.
Eat some hog. Not only did the messenger teach us not to eat the hog, he taught us how the hog was made.
Right.
From cat, rat, and dog.
Yes, sir. That's right.
He said the purpose of the hog is for medical purposes for the white race.
Right.
He said the hog was never intended for food.
That's right.
That's the message.
Yes, sir.
But this spook worship is Sunni. That's why they don't tell you nothing about the messenger. Because you will be able to judge him based on his fruits.
That's right.
They don't tell you about the history of that for a while. Because you will see plenty white people got their head bust too.
Yes, sir.
Plenty of devils.
Yes, sir.
If you think I'm lying, read the history. Show me some incidents where some white people attack Muslims and ain't nothing happened. Like I said before, people like to bring up that incident with Ronald T. Stokes. The messenger said, we call on Allah.
That's right.
We're not an aggressive people. We can't just fight the devil and he armed. We depend solely on Allah.
That's right.
Allah raised a messenger for us.
Yes, sir.
So the messenger assessed the situation in Los Angeles. That's too much for my followers to handle. So I'm going to call on Allah. I'm going to pray to Allah to retaliate against the devil like he promised me he would do.
Yes, sir.
The messenger said Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, promised him that for every one Muslim, the least Muslim, that the white man kills, Allah will kill 10 of his best ones.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So in 1962, when them devils raided the temple, the messenger called on Allah. He called on Allah to retaliate against them devils. So in 1962, a plane loaded of devils that flew from Atlanta to Paris crashed. The USS Thresher, a world-class submarine, sunk full of devils.
Right.
That was his first run in the ocean after it was built.
Yes, sir.
It was a world. I remember this because I was in the Navy. This was before I was a Muslim. They taught us all about the USS Thresher. That's why I remember this so well. Because they was teaching us about the USS Thresher. I was in the Navy. Seen submarines on base. They said the USS Thresher was a world-class, state-of-the-art submarine. Best engineering anywhere. They said that the engineering was so good on the USS Thresher that all the engineers wanted to ride on it on its first run. It was so many people on the USS Thresher they had to turn people away. That's how many engineers wanted to see this world-class submarine.
Yes, sir.
So that's why when I read what the messenger said, I remember that.
Yes,
because they taught us about that, sir. And they said they don't know why it's up.
Yes, sir.
Allah is my witness. Allah is my witness. That's what they told us when I was in the Navy. They said to this day they still don't know why it's sunk.
Yes, sir.
That's why when I read that with the man, I was like, oh my God.
Yes, sir.
They told us about the USS Thresher. But the messenger said Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, told me, he promised me, for the least Muslim that the white man kill, he will kill 10 of his best.
Right.
Not 10 little ones.
Yes, sir.
10 of his best devils.
Right.
So when that USS Thresher sunk, when that plane crashed in France, that was Master Farad Muhammad.
That's right. Praise be to Allah.
Praise you. In retaliation to Ronald T. Stokes.
Right. Yes, sir.
And when you do the history on Muslims, as I wrap it up, anytime some devils kill Muslims, they always say Allah retaliates. That's what they used to say in the paper when they would interview Muslims. When some devil killed a brother unjustly, they would say, remember, Allah retaliates.
Yes, sir.
So go look at the history. Sometimes Muslims died too, but Muslims always fought back.
Right.
Always fought back when they was attacked.
Yes, sir.
You can't use that 1962 incident and try to make it seem like the messenger was weak. Because this was Allah showing you how he can retaliate.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Praise due to Allah.
Praise to Allah. That's right.
Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful. So, Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live, the alone do we serve and the alone beseech for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou bestow thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray have they heard thy teachings. Say he Allah is one God, Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is to be served, worship, or praised besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.
Praise God.